Okay, let's get started. This is Elliot Wave Sage. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education and entertainment purposes. And just to kind of highlight some long-term charts so people know where you are in the cycle. I think it's very important people understand like where you are in the big picture. I always, when I analyze your symbols, I always start with the highest time frame. There's a reason I do that, because we need to know where are we in terms of a roadmap. Are we almost at the end of the destination, or are we just getting started? Because that also determines how aggressive you want to be, how defensive, and so on. This is the Dow Jones, again, long-term chart, and this chart is on borrowed time. We had 5 up here, and look, we broke to new highs. Look at this flat. Now, see, a lot of people need to understand the flat correction is the most sinister pattern that a trader could ever face. Most traders lose all their money in flats. Most retail investors and fundamental investors lose all their money. A flat is typically where you get screaming on TV, you get suicides, you get all the ugliness of the market that you watch on your videos of history. That's what flats do. But the cool thing about flats is since it breaks the high, it always finds support for much more upside later. So why do I care about this? Because there could be potential flats all over the market right now. Now look at this flat. This flat on the Dow Jones well exceeded its high. Okay, that's not typical for a flat. Typically a flat would have been rejected at 12.8. We almost got to 14.5. But there's no rule with the Elliott wave theory that says the B wave has to be a certain size. It's just typical. You don't see it go too big. But what the flat represents is the market got ahead of itself before the fundamentals could keep up with it. And this is where the fundamentals have to still be in harmony with the chart. At some point, the fundamentals do come back and can create a calamity. And that's what usually happens in flats. The technicals got ahead of the fundamentals. They weren't in sync, and bam, we really should have been down here. We had no business being up here, right? It was built on, fraud or whatever you want to call it back then. The reason I'm showing this is a lot of charts are showing 3 waves up from the low of October 22. Okay, 3 waves up like I have here. Okay. If I want to be super bearish, right, if I want to be like a perma bear, I can just be like 5 was done here, and we're in a flat that just finished 2 weeks ago, and all hell will break loose, and there'll be like a catastrophe if we don't get that 4 and 5, guys. Okay. And you're like, well, it went up too high. It can't be a flat, Elliott wave Sage. It still can by Elliott wave theory. Okay, it still can. Again, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 3. 3 is probably in here or close to it. Maybe one more swing. I don't know. But on the long-term chart, you need to understand where you are and what could be coming. So is this the time to just like be completely complacent? No. So you got to, when we go into a daily or week, more important, a weekly cycle correction, which I think we're entering, and then potentially a monthly cycle correction on the NASDAQ, which essentially will be the crash of the NASDAQ. It has not confirmed yet. Then we are coming to the final stages of this advance. We have bearish divergence. We don't have bullish dive. We don't have acceleration. Weak. Eventually, this momentum indicator will give way and come all the way back down. It will happen. It will happen. Okay. Now, some people believe in Moon Boy. It's just going to do that, right? It's just going to do that. And then either the 5 extends or this was a 1-2. A 1-2. 1-2. 1-2. So the odds of that is probably 10%. 10% chance of Moon Boy. But there is still a chance of Moon Boy. So you can't be completely, bearish. You can't be these perma bears that trying to top ticket, because you still got to play for the Moon Boy or the extension in 5 for now. But at some point, we'll know pretty conclusively when this is in. So you got to watch the flat, guys. There's a lot of big cap tech that could be potentially in flats that are going to resemble something like this potentially if we get a big market crash. And the thing is, if that's going to happen, we'll know probably by October how this plays out, which is typically when it crashes, October, and this could be just setting us up for October. Now, if that doesn't happen, of course, we'll get this 4 and 5, which is the most likely. We'll get a pullback of 5, and then that's it. All she wrote. That's all she wrote. And the target, usually you lose the whole wave 5, which would be here, and then typically you somewhere between the 4 and the 2. So this area right here would be a good area to expect it. 16,000 Dow, 15.2. In a pattern, just giving you kind of a rough idea. Something, pretty dramatic, and then a nice bounce that ends in a catastrophe. More than likely, this is the wave that I call the Great Depression wave. This is the wave that people are going to be jumping off roofs. Kramer's going to be screaming on TV. This is the wave that the Federal Reserve will maybe disband. Like, this is the wave. Now, this is the hope. There's going to be a lot of hope by the dip. It's going to be okay. Everything's okay. Oh, see, we're right, but then we're not. So how do we know this? We're going to have to watch the major cycle break. If it's the case, then actually I want to short this bounce and maybe even try to play long and get out and reshort it. I'm just showing you guys. And how do we know this is we're in A? We'll know because I guarantee you the market will go down 4 or 5% in a couple, day, and then we'll be down at 33,000 and somewhere here. We'll know. It'll happen pretty quick, and then will be a lot of choppiness as this plays out. So I'm showing you this so you know where you are in the big picture, guys, because the big picture has to be in the back of your minds. Not like, oh, this is a bull market, well, I just want to stay invested. No, dude, you should have been invested back here on October 20. You should have been invested in 2009. The people that bought here and bought here and bought here, they're millionaires. Like, they're getting paid. They're probably leaving the market right around now, or have left, or will leave. And you're providing the exit liquidity for them. You're coming in at the end. So what I'm trying to say is you got to understand where you are in the market and not get disappointed if it doesn't go up anymore, because this is the end of the move. But back here, nobody wanted to buy the market back in this area. Everyone hated stocks. I remember everyone hated stocks. They were scared. Even Elliott Wave Sage was a little scared here because we could have 3 swing down. This was a V bottom, and a lot of people got in a little late here, but this was actually pretty easy money on this pump here. So where are we going? So I think the market is going into definitely a daily cycle correction, but it could turn into a weekly cycle correction very soon. SPY, just kind of give you my chart here. I'm looking at it long term, 1, 2, and again, this 3 could be over. Weekly cycle correction, 5, and calamity. The triple Qs, I have a really different story. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then look at that candle on the monthly. And this is, if this was a wave 5, this would be the wave 5 target. We're in it. We're in the target. We have bearish divergence. We have peak RSI on the wave 3, just like we want. That implies that we're not in a wave one, right? If the peak RSI was back here under wave one, then I would say, yeah, it's probably got more, but it doesn't. So per my system, this is very dangerous, guys. Technology is super dangerous right now. Super dangerous. Look, there's your monthly. We break this, we go into a bear market, but this bear market could usher in a secular, like a generational crash in the technology sector that could be in a bear market for many more years to come. Eventually, probably coming back somewhere down here where this wave 4 is, 250, 225. Now, I know some people are like, oh, it's just going to do that. I doubt it. Looking at the way this chart is, the separation, I bet it will come back to the 220, this wave 4 low, somewhere around this vicinity, is what I'm thinking when this ends. Okay, so I'm just, again, I'm showing you guys the big picture. Where are you in the cycle? So you don't got time to be like too complacent. And then the VIX, like I showed you before, we'll go now to my short-term charts, and then I'll go to your questions as people have been able to join. The VIX is important because the VIX shows that we have a Volmageddon Part 2 coming. And every time we see the VIX come out of these consolidations, every time there's either a big market crash or a mini market crash. Every time. Every time. And typically, we should expect the VIX to get to 4850 when this thing finally finishes, or higher. And that could be to get started. And of course, it can build higher from here. It could just build like we saw here. You broke out, you came back, and then you broke out again. So it could do that. Now it looks early, right? That's why I still show a 4 and a 5, right? The 4 and the 5. It looks early for that. But who's to say we're right on the doorstep? So why do you want to be too complacent? So that's why I wasn't too complacent. That's why I posted what I did on the internet, on Twitter, because you have to keep an eye on this stuff. You can't be complacent based on the big picture where we are. We're not like up here. We're not getting it at the lows. We're getting it, well off the lows. And of course, the monthly cycle on the VIX it looks like it's got a breakout here of some kind. A breakout. Boom. Okay? Lot of room to play with here on the VIX. The VIX has a lot of room. Okay? A lot of room. The other thing I was looking at today, guys, on the ETFs, we'll go to the SQQ. We had traded SQQ really well during the bear market in 21, 22. We have, so I had this charted like 6 or 7 months ago, and we have this 3, 4, 5, and maybe 5 extends, but it looks like we got a reversal on the SQQ with 5 up. Okay, so we'll do a pullback. And we have a buy-in opportunity, maybe in the next week or two, in this as this gap fills. So the SQQ could be an opportunity to buy this, to play the swing up. And if you're lucky, you get a crash and you make a fortune. But if you're not, you just maybe you could play it from 769 to 940 and scalp it as this inverse head and shoulders plays out. So this is also telling me tech is bearish, but it is due a pullback, a relief rally. All right, let's go to your guys' questions, and then we'll go from there. And we'll start with Andrew Ashok. Roche. Yeah, let's take a look. Now, Roche, I think I remember what we did on Roche earlier. We're bearish on Roche, right? We said that Roche is in an area where it's about to rally and fail, right? Here, for another swing lower. So this is an area of danger. you know, you only have 3 swings up. So I believe that this could reverse at any moment. Does it have earnings coming up? So that could be very dangerous earnings report coming. Now, this is a connector wave. You have 3 and up. Now, you don't have a third wave. Like, I don't see a third wave, so I don't want to be too bearish. Now, this is a Fibonacci target area, but we have seen at times the C can extend. So I'm not saying short into earnings, but what I'm saying is that you have a 3 swing move here. You have this 3 swing move. So I'll give you an extended target based on this wave. I was giving it, this is like the more classic target, but the extended target, if it can go a little higher, would be 281.3, and ironically, it looks like it touched that and reject it. Or, yeah, maybe it's trying to see what it wants to do. So this is the extended target area, something like that. So this B probably needs, like I said, you have 3 up, and you're missing a connector. Also, this should be an impulse off the low of some kind. So that would also give you this extra swing. So I'm thinking you're going to get a pullback and one more high like that. That's the most likely path that I can see on Roche right now. But I think it is a dangerous chart to get too complacent and long in. And I have an ultimate target of 180 or lower. All right, Megan. Can you do TEM? It IPO'd in June. It's an AI technology company. Okay. So let's go to TEM and take a look. So the one thing we know about the AI stocks with NVIDIA, right, we know that they're correcting, or and we just don't know what degree cycle it's in yet. But if AMD breaks 141, that's going to usher in a bear market. That, again, it's a buyable dip eventually for those, but it's going to be bear mode. It's going to be bear mode for the sector. It's going to be bear mode. And then we have to kind of understand where we are again. But once NVIDIA hits that target, the sector is due to bounce probably. It could even make one more high. I like how it broke the high here. You see how it broke that? Now, it did it in 3 waves. So anytime I see that, I worry about flat corrections. When you look at this wave down, it's in 3 as well. So you have to always keep in mind the flat until you take this high out. So the market is still trying to figure out, is it going to give you a wave 5 or not? And the flat correction, typically you'll get that, and then you'll get a pullback, something like that. This is the most likely path, but because you have this kind of unusual bottom, and there's a high probability it will do a flat. And the flat correction, like I said, is the most sinister Elliott wave pattern, the most destructive. The most money has been lost trading because of flats. Flats is the worst because it makes one high to trick people, to get people trapped, and then it's like, never mind, we're going back down. Like that. To just break this low, and then it rips back up, and then you're like, and then you want to jump off a bridge after you lost all your money, you capitulate it, and then you see it 2 weeks later at 58. That's what flats do to people, man. They mess with your mind. They screw with your mental health. But you have to know the trap. So this could be a trap. So if it's a trap, you want to wait and buy it at 1780 and not fall into it. So, but because you broke this high, more than likely, if you get a flat, it's almost certain it will make another swing higher when this finishes. I just don't know what it is. There's not enough chart data to know which one you're going to get. This looks like a wave 4 with this triangle kind of like congested area. So I think there's a good chance it may not do a flat, and it may do a 4 and a 5. So just keep that in mind. And then look, and if we get that 5, look for the pullback and then out. Okay, Megan, thanks again. Mike, let's go to Path and SAVA. Path and SAVA. Let's see. I think we've done Path before. This symbol looks pretty familiar to me. Oh yeah, we got to get to the requested. So we called the W low here. Looks like we nailed that pretty well. We're looking for a pump and a failure. Now, this is way too shallow. If that happens, it's going to go bankrupt. So we need more upside. We got to have more upside from here. There's just no way. But we have to move in 3 waves. Here looks like an impulse up in an A wave off the low, and now you're in some kind of B. The B could be a little bit lower here and then up. It could be finished here. It could even become a triangle. So this is not enough data to know, but I do believe you have one more swing higher, and then it could even continue more. Go back down and then go back up, and just keep doing it. And then at some point, this will get set, and then it will be a waterfall sell-off. But again, this looks like 3 up to me. I mean 5 up. Let's go to the shorter time frame. Yeah, bullish divergence. That's a pretty good capitulation there. I wouldn't be surprised maybe if the B's done there. So it's tough. This is a tough little chart to trade. It'll be shocked if it breaks 11. I'll be shocked because then essentially it's a go to zero. It's essentially whatever's going on in this company. It's screwed. This company's screwed. And the insiders and the big money know that. And the sad thing is you don't yet. You don't know that, but they know it, and they're getting out while the getting's good. And I think though it's not realistic to think that this is done in some kind of flat A, B, C. I just don't think so. I think it's got more upside. All right, the next is SAVA. Let's go to the requests here. Go my requested. See if we've got these charts here. SAVA. Let's see how that's been playing out. Just like we expected, down. All right, so we got to count the impulses down, right? We got to count and see where we are. We got to navigate this thing and see where things are. It's interesting. We moved in 3 waves down here. Yeah, we're are we in a wave 5? No. I'll label it because it's in 5. I'm going to just label it using classic Elliott wave theory, not using the RSI system I use, because this would be a better way to do it. All right, good thing is you got your wave 3. Bad thing is, as you can see, it's nowhere close. And look, you just broke massive support, right? You flipped this descending triangle, broke. Right, this is descending triangle. Chart, what is it? Chart theory, chart pattern traders, when they see a descending triangle break like that, they typically go the height of the triangle is the distance it's going to fall. But wait a minute, that's negative. Bankrupt. So there's no more room to go down. So look, there's no more, like it's lights out. I don't know what this company does, but it's in trouble. This chart is saying this company's in trouble. It's in trouble. And if you're buying it long, I'm not saying you are, but if you're buying charts like this long, you guys are going to lose a lot of money. This actually should be shorted right there at 14. That's probably an amazing short opportunity on your short-in support that flip resistance. Now it's resistance, so you're short on the back test of resistance. And if you're lucky, you'll get another 1, 2, and you get a waterfall, and then it's lights out. So I wish I had better news for investors on this, but that's the chart's the chart, the stock price is the stock price, and it just doesn't look good for SAVA. CH, let's go to yours. Can you look at WBD? Oh no, bag holder. Well, you know, we'll have to take a look at that and see where things are on the chart. Damn, so look, we got the pump, but it broke the low. So we have a connector wave now. So it double corrected on us, and that sucks because that's going to make it go even further down. But let's take a bigger picture and just see. Maybe I got this wrong. Let's take a look and just kind of start over and just make sure we have it right. So we had the bottom here, no divergence, a big bounce. It reset the cycle. So yeah, so this is clearly 3 down, but this is 5. So we have an impulse down. It's an impulse. Okay, it's 5 down. It's 5 down of some degree, unless it erased divergence, and it hasn't. Okay, so if you look, we just broke the weekly cycle higher. Look at that. Interesting. So it looks like to me you could have an opportunity for a counter trend bounce. That's what it looks like to me. Now, let's go to the monthly cycle. Just broke. So this whole thing's got to retrace, okay? Now, I can't call this a flat. Now this is too big, right? I was telling earlier. Now, as you could see, now it just went too high. I'm not calling that a flat. I just don't think it is. I think it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something like that off the low with the bearish divergence. It held this low here. My guess is you're going to get a counter trend rally here of some kind, and it's going to fail and go lower. So this could be an opportunity to lighten your bags. If you get lucky, you can go back to this this major area of support resistance. If we get lucky, you get out at 20. If you can get lucky on this bounce. But there's no guarantee it's going to go that high. But I see 5 down. And I don't see a flat. There's just no way I can make it a flat to say that's a major low. So I think it's just going to have a counter trend rally. This would be the general area where it should end, somewhere around here, and then it's got another leg lower if it could even survive it. All right, Alex, where would you start the wave count on the macro on Dogecoin? So I think with Dogecoin, you have to look at it on what exchange are you looking at your count on? Looks like crypto is moving. Crypto is moving. Good. Dogecoin. So Dogecoin, it looks like to me. Let me just kind of get this count right. Almost erased divergence there. So a couple things on Dogecoin real quick. You only have 3 up. That's a connector wave. You need to get this 4-5. Now, obviously breaking out of this is probably going to do it, but you can't get too giddy yet, because again, if it breaks this pivot down here, yeah, it's going to create a massive sell-off. So just know that this low has to hold. Okay, this has to hold. All right, there is no guarantee. I'm not the market maker. I cannot promise new all-time highs. All I can promise is that the bulls are in control. It's better to buy the dip, but you can't always. You just don't know if it's a connector wave and it unravels. So I just mentioned that. But on the bigger picture time frame, I mean, the way I label it is, you know, for me, this is some kind of 1 and then 2, right? And then this is a 3 swing move, and it ends it right here. And I believe on my channel we called this low, by the way, long time, but it was a long time ago. So I think that's the low in a 3 swing move. So So that's how you call it 1, 2. And now we're trying to build out of that and try to come out of this to really get it to get going. So that's the idea. So that's how I label it. And again, I always go to the higher time frame, like the monthly cycle, or maybe the weekly cycle would be better here. And you can kind of see, you know, you had a peak here. You also had a peak here. So that's probably your wave 3. So this was probably one cycle, like a 1, 2. You know, the 18, 17 and 18 was 1. This was 3, 4. And then we finished with 5. So that's probably how it happened. And now we're between the 4 and the 2. So this is the area of accumulation. What happens if this low breaks? It's like, is it the end of the world? No, it just means it goes lower. And it could come back down. As see, we found support there. It could come back down to this area. A full round trip. But guess what? As much people don't want to believe it, since it's 5 up, this high will be broken at some point in the future. Now you may be broke if this low breaks and we come down here. You may be broke, but at some point in the future, this high, you can save this video. This high will break because it's 5 up, even if it takes a catastrophic decline. If crypto does a flat. Guys, and that's another thing I need to mention, guys. Crypto, we talked about crypto. Now it's building a base. If it can break this high at 71,000, it negates the flat in crypto. The flat correction, we've talked about the flat correction is the very sinister. Here you have a 3-wave move, and you have 3 up. There's a lot of people calling double top here. And some people are calling a flat, 1, 2, 1, 2, now if we get a flat here, guys, the technical target for Bitcoin is actually right here at $2,000. It's almost hard to believe, but that's where the flat would target. Can you rule it out? No, until this high is taken out, you can't rule it out. So what we need to see is more upside to negate that flat right there. So that's the target. Now the other thing is, what's interesting that's happening this weekend is, remember, we put wave 4 here in Bitcoin. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. What if we get the 5 to extend and just peak above the high, just make like 73,000 going into Monday? What would that do? Okay, cool. That makes it that could make it 5 up, right? We talked about this being a 4 here. Like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and if this is a 5, we just make a marginal new high to technically complete the cycle, and then you get this big decline, back down to the 42,000 area, and that syncs it up with the rest of the market decline, the weekly cycle correction. So be careful again chasing Bitcoin. It may be out of sync with the rest of the market, and it may be pumping right now to get back in sync. But once we make this high, it could be susceptible for a massive drop with the rest of the market coming up here. But we all knew that, right? You all watched me. We all know Coinbase hasn't made its low. We all know MicroStrategy hasn't made its low. So I'm pointing out the obvious, right? Now, of course, Moonboy says, "Oh no, this is you have it labeled wrong. This is the 3. This is the 4 here. This is the 5." And Moonboy says it's a 1, 2, and it's off to, I'm a millionaire. Okay, that's possible still too, by the way. So I don't know. I just think you got to keep an open mind in crypto, and you can't be like punch drunk bullish and stupid bullish, like given the market conditions. You just got to understand it. There's a couple things out there. There's cross currents. There's messages in the market that concern me. When I see Coinbase and MicroStrategy and CleanSpark not at their lows where they should have been, and then I see the technology sector and the Dow maybe doing a flat, and how weak we are going into the summer here, you just need to be aware that you get this little peak above this high. Technically, once that happens, no more flat. This box is gone forever. These prices, you'll never see them again. And then, yeah, you'll get this like crazy pullback, like this. That's going to take a while, like months to finish out. Almost like we had here, right? Almost like we had in this area. Ironically, this was July. Like, where was this? July. Look at that. July 1st. Go figure. And then we moved. So I think you got to be ready for that in crypto. This pullback, and yeah, this pullback could come all the way back down to this area if this is the wave 4, or maybe a little bit higher. So you just don't know. So I think the reason I'm bringing it is that you guys ask me questions about crypto. You need to understand again the big picture of where we are, because a lot of people bought crypto already down here. Maybe you didn't, but I did. Everyone else did. They could be selling right here, like, yeah, I don't want to hold through the election, F that. I'll just take some profit and wait. I've already like made 300%, right? So you maybe made 10% if you had made that. These guys down here, they made like triple their money. So like, you got to understand the cycle. We haven't, you got to understand what's going on the big picture. Okay, big picture. But right now, everything's okay. This impulse is playing out just like we want it so far on Bitcoin. It's really playing out nice. We have this bearish divergence. So this wave 5 could end at any moment. I mean, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, geez, it could end while we're on our live stream. And then we could pull back and keep going and break this high, okay? So keep that in mind. All right, guys, let's go back to your questions. Obama, appreciate the 20. Russell 1000, and if possible, large cap international. All right, I have to try to search for those symbols. I'll do my best to see if I can find them here. Russell 1000. We'll chart this Vanguard Russell 1000 ETF. I mean, that's probably, or here, IWB. That's probably a better one because like the IWM. So we'll chart the IWB and see where we are with that. Okay, big picture. Again, I always start with the highest time frame so that you get an idea where you are. And again, like the indices, here's your 3, there's your 3, 4, and then your extended 5th that's playing out so far until we can erase divergence, which we haven't. So again, and then here's your first bottom. So it's very similar to all the other patterns we've been looking at so far. And again, we're missing. It looks like to me. I mean, again, I'm not. I don't do Elliott waves. I write books on this shit or stuff. But I mean, it looks like we're missing a 4 and a 5, right? I mean, doesn't that? I mean, it looks like it to me. Now, we talked about the flat correction. This is the most sinister, the most horrific correction, since that could be 3 up, right? Wouldn't that be something? Now that's just, again, it looks too big, but as we saw in the Dow, it can be big. It doesn't have to be small. See, the Dow made it. It's the same. So there's no rule about that. So it doesn't matter. It's too big. It's just got to be 3 swings. And then it's like, oh shit, the market got ahead of itself. We really need to be priced back down here. And it just reprices itself, right? And it just, before you can think what's going on, you don't understand. And you know what's interesting about the flat correction? And again, I think it's like a 5% chance something like that's going to happen, guys. I don't think that's going to happen. But this bottom, right? We all know the indices did not bottom the way I expected. We never got capitulation on the VIX. We had this unusual bottom, which typically when I chart stocks, when we get a bottom like this, almost always it fails. That's why that's why I was really super bearish here, because normally these charts fail. But wouldn't it have been something if, yeah, this was 3 swings, but it made a bigger 3 swings up, and then it comes down, and then to correct this imbalance, this technical imbalance, because we don't have a proper low here, and then we come back down. I mean, that's crazy. But I think for your sake, I would just say we're in wave 5. Wave 3 of 5 should be coming to an end soon. We don't have absolute confirmation yet, but We need to be on alert, right? We have to be on alert. You have bearish divergence between these two peaks. So I mean, again, I don't have to. I'm not that smart, guys. I could put that there, and then we drop back down to this area, 269, and we make one more high, and that's it. And that's it. And then it's game over. And of course, again, I can be wrong, and there is this moon boy scenario, like I've mentioned before, where this isn't actually a 1-2 as well. It's 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and then maybe 1-2, and then it's like moon boy, we're all rich. So we don't know that yet. We don't know. Unfortunately, we can't predict the future. That's such a hard probability, a low probability event. But if you look at the long-term stochastics, it just doesn't really support that at the moment. Maybe I could get behind Moonboy if we're trading. Let's say we just get a mini pullback. Let's say we pull back here on this 4 down to 264, and then we go check the monthly stochastic, and the monthly's like down here. If there's that much hidden bullish divergence with a lot more upside on the monthly, then I can maybe get behind Moonboy to see a lot of hidden bullish divergence, but we need to wait and see how that shakes out. But the weekly cycle, it hasn't confirmed the 4 is in. This 4 is in, but I believe we're watching that happen in real time this summer maybe. At least this looks finished. Okay. Bama, and then large cap international. Again, I'll try to find it. This looks like international large cap value. Maybe could you put the symbol down in there? Put the symbol, please, that you want, because I just don't know. I'm just looking for large cap international. It's not something I trade. I don't trade that a lot. Yeah, I don't. I'm just waiting. Yeah, if you want to put in the chat what symbol, because I just can't pick it out. So I'll come back to your super chat once I read that. So we'll go to Al. Next one is Stacy. Appreciate it. Your requests are above. Okay. Typically, we get crashes when the yield curves uninvert. Maybe the rates coming down will give us the final move up until rates uninvert. I don't look at the inversions. That's not part of my system, so I can't comment on that. But I think all we know is the behavior of the market recently, and try to apply it to today's price action when it comes to interest rate and how the market's been moving. So if you look at right now the 10-year, and again, it's kind of messy, but I don't want to get rid of my charts here. But basically, we're off this low, and we have 5 up, and then we pulled back and we made a high, and I think it's making a flat correction here. As we pull back down in this cycle, there's a good chance that this is an easing of financial conditions that allows the market to continue higher. Okay, to top out. That's always been my theory, my hypothesis that I want to say. But there is an alternate view on that this actually goes down because people are panicking out of the stock market. They're going to panic, and the bond market will act as its traditional risk-off mechanism. But we haven't seen that in this corrective cycle for years, that behavior. And as rates go up, the market was in a bear market. So this would explain what we're about to see. A little more upside in the indices. Then at some point, something breaks down. The rates start to go back higher again, and then they take off in its wave 3, which should crash all the indices and usher in the last leg of the bear market, or the new bear market, even the grand super cycle crash. Whatever happens in the future here, That's what I'm thinking. Now, how that plays with uninversion, inversion, I don't know. Now, the other alternative again is we get a risk-off mode in the market, panic, and rates go down because of a panic, and then perhaps the Federal Reserve panics, the government's panic, and re-stimulates the economy, and essentially we get a repeat of the COVID lows. But this time inflation gets way out of hand again, and then the Feds have to go back to raising rates. And so we get like a crash, A wave crash, a B wave counter rally, then it's oh shit, inflation's out of control, and then this B wave turns into a C wave as inflation runs amok again. So there's a lot of different ways to interpret how the rates are going to impact the market, but that's why I don't put too much like weight on my trade-in based on correlations. I do keep them in the back of my mind, but I'm not like betting the farm because I have a belief that, oh, if bonds are going higher because rates are falling, that means the market's going to crash. I need to get out. It's going to be risk off, because that's not the case sometimes. Okay? And the vice versa. We've also seen in higher rate environments, sometimes the markets support it. So I'm only seeing what it did last couple, like the bear market in 21, 22. What if in the future it doesn't do that? So that's why you don't put so you just trade the chart kind of on its own merit. So for right now it's in bear mode, but it wants to puke lower, guys. It wants to puke lower. It's looking for a reason to do that. All right, let me go back and see if I got that comment in from Bama. Okay, I got the symbol now. Let's go to the symbol. Here, DFALX. Did I get that right? Yeah, DF. Yeah, this doesn't seem right again. I've typed in DFALX. Let me try the yeah, I don't know why I'm having a hard time finding it. Yeah, if you could just if you could get up trade in view, you could just try to tell me. Now it may not be. Sometimes these 401k funds aren't in trade in view, so sometimes we can't do it. But I'll keep monitoring. If you put in the chat, I'll go back to it. Okay, Alex, what do you think of David Hunter calling for 330 on the Russell this year? Okay, so let's go back to that. Let's go back to the Russell. When you say Russell, do you mean IWM 330 or the Russell Index 330? So that's my first. I'm going to assume you mean the IWM 330. And the IWM 330 is way up here. That would be Moon Boy scenario, guy. That would be the Moon Boy. That would be Moon Boy. So he's in the moon. Obviously, he's in the Moon Boy camp that this is some kind of 1-2, 1-2 to the moon. That would be the first wave off the low. Again, I don't believe that's going to happen in the Russell because we broke the October low, guys. October 22 lows broke here. It's the only indice that did that. This is very corrective structure, and if this plays out just like I have it, it's almost out of time. Tick tock, tick tock. It's almost out of time, and then that's it. So I don't think so. I don't think it's going to IWM 330. Even if it breaks this all-time high here, it makes a flat correction. I think it's got another swing lower. I think this is the fractal, right? This is the fractal. You see how we developed here? We had this then we kind of came up, and then it was like, oh shit, never mind. I think that's going to happen. I think that's the same fractal we're going to get here. The same fractal is going to play out. And if you assume, and if it's 330, then IWM 330. Yeah, I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. I don't support it, but you have to do what's best for you. Um, all right, let's see. Keep going with the questions. Festival AG. Let's see here. Where do we got AG at? Okay, it looks like it hit our buy area. We bounced. And now we need to decide, is it a connector or is it 5 waves up? So I have to go to the shorter time frame. Yeah, it looks like to me some kind of flat here, 5 waves up on a flat and out. So I would say that low has to hold, 592. Now if that low breaks, you know, I take that back. It could still be in the flat because this has got to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you really need 573 to hold. Now if that doesn't hold, then the connector was some kind of ABC. This was your connector, and then it's going to take a whole nother leg lower. And then that's going to retest this low at 417, and we're still in wave 2. So, you know, I would still expect more upside, but I would say that you need to understand, like, you know, where things are, that this could be 3, 3, so 3, 3, 3, out and out. And of course, this low has to hold. If it's a connector, the target would be 542, 496 here. Somewhere in this area. W or yeah, WXY. Yeah, it's possible. You know, I wouldn't fall too in love with this position. It's possible it's going to double correct down. Because if you look at silver overall, silver looks like it wants to do a double correction, the metal. Okay, the market's weak, we know. Silver looks like it wants to dump down to this double correction area, 2780. Where, and again, we didn't really bottom properly here again, right? We got excited because it did bottom real early, right? We wanted it to bottom lower. And that may have been the market getting ahead of itself. Again, you know, too much euphoria in the market to buy it. So you get something like that. So I would say just know that you could get this, and that would push AG down. You know, so this is a tough chart to kind of, you know, if the 4 is done here, again, this is only 3 waves. There's always a chance that it did bottom here. And it goes up one more high. So I'm showing you possibilities, but I'm giving you based on the price action I'm seeing, and what I'm thinking is I wouldn't be surprised to see the 4 come back down into this area here now. I also mentioned on silver, you know, I am very bullish on silver, but again, I always look at all angles, and of course you have only 3 up. So what does that mean? It could be a flat. A, B, C. So I keep an open mind, right? I have to know the big picture too, right? This is the big picture. So keep that in mind. I mean, don't be putting your whole stack in and like, you know, and then you end up losing it all, you know, and then you have to try catastrophe, right? So just understand the big picture, and the price action we saw recently, I don't like it. I don't like how it's pushing down so hard. But let's see. I think it should find support here. But if it breaks this low here at 25.96, I think the flat's in play, guys. Whether I wish it to be or not, or I I think the flat could be in play. So just keep that in mind. So just know that where you are in the big picture of things, and go from there. And you'll have to make your decision. All right, random for 2. India SCX. I was looking at the world indices to see where they are. I'm going to flip through those for people so you can see Do they sync up with it? Because it's really just one world market. You're not going to have one indice moon while everything crashes or vice versa. It's not going to happen. So I try. So I just start, and like I've had these charted for a while. So like the Nikkei average, I've had this charted, and I can't believe it's been playing out. But I have this as a A, and again, we had no erasure divergence, so I always thought this was a connector wave, and now we made 3 swings up, and we would end at 46.1, and we're almost there for a big crash in the Japanese stock market. And here's, if you count, I mean, if you count this 1, 2, 3, 4, we're almost there. You know, not quite there. Okay, so this supports a crash. Now the Hang Seng, right? We had this major low here, right? We said this low had to hold. If not, we would go to Hang Seng 6,000. That would have to be an indice crash. We held the low, but when we came off the low, we did not come off as an impulse. We came off a corrective structure. So what if this doesn't hold? What if we come back down to here and it just goes? Okay, keep that in mind. The DAX index, again, I show we need a 4 and a 5. Okay, look, we have a 1. Now the DAX is, I think, a little more bullish. On the long term, I have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, but here we have this 3, 4, and 5 that needs to play out, and then this whole cycle needs to correct. So that would feel like a crash, but it will, you know, it will correct this leg. So it's a little more bullish than some of the others. And then the Nifty. So let me go to the specific one that you wanted. The Nifty, I have a lot of 4s and 5s topping out. But let me go to your specific one and see if I can pull that up here. I would assume this is it. Imagine it's got to look the same. Is this the one you want? Random. But if this is the one you want, it looks like, yeah, we're in wave 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that. And again, if you get 5 up, you should get a crash. Now, but this one, look, there's all the divergences are red. So this could continue to extend. Let's go to the shorter cycles. And you see where the peak, we haven't got to the peak. So I think this has more upside in wave 3. So this one definitely looks a little more healthier. And I think India is one of the most bullish world indices in the market right now. If I understand, you know, them all. So you made 1, 2, 1, 2. So yeah, it's pretty bullish indice. So I think it's got more upside. Yeah, I think this one, this has got more upside coming. That's why these wicks are so strong. Okay, so this one looks healthy still. This one looks kind of healthy. All right, let's keep going. Would EWT work on the chart IWM per QQQ? Yeah, I mean, it does work on those kind of charts like gold to silver ratio, that type of thing. Yes, it does work on those. Let me see if I can pull it up and do this. Let's see if... All right, so we always know when you break this low, after a big consolidation that's gone on for 20 years, chances are it's going to go lower. Okay. Look. Right. But it seems like to me This was a corrective move off the low, and the trend is lower. So we need 5 waves down, and we'll get a counter trend rally. Okay. Right. I'm not going to label that. I mean, it's pretty obvious that's your wave 3. So now we need a 5th wave. And that 5th wave can be done. 1, 2, 3. See, this is not good. This could be still 4. So I think something like that. A, B, we're going to get a flat here in this 4. But let's look at the long-term stochastics and see. Not yet. But see, here's your wave 5. It's a wave 5. So yeah, whatever this represents, I guess this means is the IWM, is value going to outperform technology? It looks like in the future, yes. It looks like this ratio is going to go higher to correct this entire wave, and it may come back up to like this 0.8, 0.9 area, but I mean, could you get something like this? You know, who knows, maybe, but yeah, it does look like this ratio wants to go higher at any moment. I could have this off, you know. So the other alternative, it could be also this, where this is 3 waves and you're still in 4, where you get a flat, an A, B, C, because you look how long this wave 2 took, years, right? So it wouldn't surprise me to see a flat as well, where you still go up, like, and then you make another low, and then you come back up again. So, but either way, it's ready to make a move. If it's a flat, it's already probably finished. It's finished. If it's not a flat, maybe one more low, or high and a low. So that's the ratio. But then ultimately that will fail and will go even lower later. It will go lower. Okay. If I'm just looking at the ratios. All right, let me go to BAMA. The fund name is DFA Large Cap. It looks like it's not in your system. Thanks for trying. International, you know, the way I look at international is a lot of these international funds have Alibaba and shit like that in it. So the Hang Seng, if the Hang Seng's going up, typically the international funds are going to go up. And I just showed you a chart of the Hang Seng, right? It should bounce, but it doesn't. It's in a dangerous situation potentially. But also, I'll also say the dollar going weak should help international stocks too. So the dollar strength kills them. So I think I have a forecast of the dollar going down. So I think the international stocks may be supported for a little bit. But you have to do what's best for you. But I do think, like, if you look at where the Hang Seng's going, right, the Hang Seng, where I think it's going. So this would be international stocks doing well, outperforming. But it's corrective. So what happens? Well, oh shit. So yeah. So I think short term, it looks like it's going to be under pressure. I think everything's going to be under pressure short term. Right. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going here. Thomas, appreciate the super chat. Let me see if I can find your symbol. WHECO. Wilder Hill Clean Energy Index. Never heard of it. Okay, let's take a look. We never broke this high. A lot of divergence here, so chances are it's it's in a connector. It's going to break the low. It's in a corrective structure of some kind, but let's just take another. Well, maybe this is a flat. So it's got to hold this low. I mean, 35.19 has to hold, or it's in a lot of trouble. Okay, this I can label this like a flat correction. Let's see here. Something like that. Or did we break? It's like a double bottom, so I'll just put it there for now. Again, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt, and because if I don't, then I would just say it's going to go to 0. Whoops, wrong way. Let's do this the other way. So the only chart I can think of that makes this work for me is something like this. And then there's just a tight wave 4 in here. So this is an impulse of some kind. And then we're coming down in wave 2. So you're running out of room. You know, you're running out of room. Looks like the monthly cycle's turning higher. So it looks like it's trying to find a bottom. Yeah, I'm trying to find the current connector wave. Somewhere in here. Yeah, you would have stopped out. I think I don't like the look of this. This looks like an impulse down, to be honest with you, and it erased divergence here, and then it has diverge. So it looks very. It looks like it's in some kind of five wave move decline. Right? It's in some kind of 5-wave move decline. Right? Probably end it. So if it's 5 down like I have it, then this bounce may make it up to like 88 and it's going to fail. So it looks like it's going to correct. It looks like it's going into a correction, but more than likely the bounce is going to fail given the impulse of the decline. But you'll have to decide if you want to hold it or not. I look at charts like this. I'm like, you have really nothing to lose because the stop is so small. But if that breaks, then it's something much more bearish, and this would have to be like a W, X, and Y, and we would drop, and there's really just no more room for it to go down. We could try to find a target if it did that, and see it's negative. So there's no way to target it. It's just gonna bounce. This will be a connector, and then you'll need to watch another 5 waves down. So, tough to say. Anyway, thanks for the super chat. Scott, appreciate that. Let's take a look at Palantir. It was pretty resilient, right? But did it hold up? Yeah, pretty much treaded water again, technically. Again, I wouldn't change the labeling, but why don't we? This is a little. Let's say it's a little too bullish. Right, so let's look at these cycles a little bit through a different lens, just to see. So this is the 4-hour cycle is going to reset. So why don't we be a little more conservative about the count and where we are with it, so we're not surprised? Because so one thing one of the fundamental rules of trading is you never trade against the general market direction. Again, you don't swim against the current. Like if the market is turning down in a weekly cycle or daily cycle correction, you don't try to buy positions, you try to short because the market's working against you. I mean, could you get lucky? Yes, but the odds of success are very limited, and your entries have to be perfect. But if you trade with the market direction, then you can make mistakes and you can go in at the wrong moment and recover because the market's kind of supporting you. So the market is turning down, right? It's turning down. I believe it is in a daily cycle correction. The question is, will it turn into a weekly cycle? And if it is, I think I'm foolish to think Palantir is just going to moon, right? Now, it could. It sure could, but I think you have to be a little conservative, right? You can't be, too naive to be like, oh yeah, my stock's going to moon while the rest of the market tanks. So why don't we call that an impulse up and call that just wave one, because we don't have that wave three done, that peak RSI in yet. So why don't we say that, and then that would drop us back down to the wave four, down to 23. So this again, I'm just being conservative. It doesn't have to do it. The chart I had before was okay, but you need to be aware of this. And because the market forecast, is storm cloud. There's storm clouds outside. There could be a tornado, a hurricane. It could be a typhoon. We don't know, but there's storm clouds emerging, dark clouds. So I think it's better to label it a little more conservative here, like this. Now the ultimate bear case is we're still in wave two, and this is a flat, and this isn't labeled properly. It's just 3. And then if it flats out, it drops all the way back, and it'll fill this gap here at 18. But whatever happens here in the future, it's going higher because we already broke this high. So whatever tricks happen in this area, you're going to, and this is why I don't like trading calls and puts, guys. This is why I hate calls and puts, because the calls and puts, your timing's got to be impeccable. Here, if you buy the stock, you just got to wait it out. The trader about. So I'm just showing you a couple options so but I do believe there's storm clouds in the market, and so maybe you get a pullback like this now. Versus the more bullish case, which again I can't rule out. It could be the more bullish situation, but you'll have to decide what you want to do. But good luck. I believe there's a lot of upside potential in the future, but like next week, I mean, don't be surprised if this wave 2 happens next week. Don't be surprised because of what's happening in the market. Now, if what happened last week in the market didn't happen, then I would be looking for the push higher. But unfortunately, again, guys, we're not the market makers. I'm not Aladdin. I don't have, billions of dollars. I can move the market when I want it. When it goes up and I say it goes up, it goes up. Like, it doesn't work like that. So we trade these, we trade like this, but there's really no trade set up anywhere in this chart. Now, if it drops to 18, a huge opportunity to buy. Now, if we can get a 3-wave pullback in wave 2, there could be an entry here, a trade entry here for that wave 2. But here is just guessing here. But if you just come in here and buy it, you're just gambling at the casino, and maybe you win, maybe you lose. I don't know. But I would never trade this chart the way it looks now. Never, ever. We were buying Palantir, guys, actually way back down here, right? We were buying Palantir back way back down in this area, believe it or not, if you've watched my channel. So, again, a lot of people getting into Palantir now, guys, there's people in Palantir that bought it at $8. So they could sell on you. They could dump all their shit on you and drop this thing and so you just don't know. Just don't think because you bought it, no one's figured it out yet. People figured out Palantir back here. You're right. Everyone, so it isn't just like you discovered it. And again, I'm not picking on Palantir. I'm just trying to teach people how to trade and how to think about trading. But this pattern is powerful. It will break out. It will be at 44. I'm almost certain of it. But this is a messy area of congestion right now. All right, Alex. Let's take a look at your symbol. WNDW. Solar window. I do not like the solar stocks. I've been saying that for a while because of the tan and oil dropping. So we had this B wave, right? B wave, and the B wave should finish soon and get another pump higher and see, right? So your question is, could this be the grand super cycle wave 3? I don't think it's ever going to see these highs. I think it's just a connector wave because you have an impulse down. You don't have 3 waves down. So I think it's a tradable. It's something to trade, day trade. I think you could buy it here at 23 cents and put a stop at like 20. Well, that's a big stop, but this low has to hold at this 2 cents. So yeah, you could try to trade this here, buy it here, and if you get that, you now this wave C, cool. But I would dump it. I would not fall in love with this stock. But solar, again, I don't like solar at all, but this is trade in its own ecosystem. It's a penny stock trade. So it's outside the sector almost. Florian, Palantir in the big picture. Yeah, so I was kind of coincidentally just going over the Palantir stock, and I see the same thing that you're seeing, but I believe to get to that breakout, there could be a lot of tricks coming from traders. This, like I said, we could get this wave 2. This will line us up with the market correction I think we're having. Now the other more sinister is a flat, and then it drops all the way back to 18 for a massive opportunity. Then I think whenever this finishes, it's going to play out. Now the thing is, you already have broke out and you're back testing support, so there is a possibility, like I showed earlier, that it's not going to drop and it's just going to keep going higher. So this should play out. This is almost destined to play out, and we should get to 42 to retest this all-time high. I think it's destined to play out. But I think the challenge you're going to have is this mess, this congestion right here, this mess. This is the challenging part of this trade. The bulls have broke it. Now maybe you get a back test and it just goes back to 26.5 and then it comes out. But I just don't know. I think, optimistically it was, back to where I had it as like these 1-2s, and it could just boom. So I don't know how it's gonna work, but based on where the market's heading, I think a pullback is pretty likely. But this is probably the most probable path that I'm seeing. The other option is it's a flat, and we come all the way back down to fill this gap, and then we run. Okay. JK, let's go to your question. ET and URA. URA, that's one that we haven't talked about in a long time. ET. ET. Let's see here. Energy transfer. I thought we've done this chart before, yeah. All right, looks like we nailed that here. We got the buy here, we got the 1, we got the wave 3. So this is playing, again, this is going according to plan. Where are we in wave 3? We haven't taken the peak out, so we're still well within wave 3, so still much more upside to come. But let's take a look at the cycles and see how the cycles look. So that's probably another 1-2 right there. And then more than likely this is a full wave, but I wouldn't put 3 there. I'll probably make that another 1-2 of some kind. Something like that. So like the rest of the market, it could be in danger of a correction. to correct this impulse right here. I wouldn't put 3 there. This wasn't powerful enough. So I do think you should think about this ending and then coming back down and then coming out again. Okay? This one's pretty bullish. This one's pretty bullish, right? We had to buy at $8. It's 16. Double your money. But it took time, right? This took a lot of time, but it got up there and it kept going. So I think this is the chart. We got this wave 2 coming. All right, next is URA. URA is Uranium ETF. I play around in this every now and then. I do have 5 up, right? So bigger picture, we have a 1, 2, and then we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are in wave 5. This is why I wasn't chasing uranium the last several months. You know, you didn't see any uranium recommendations because it was like, I'm not going to play this wave 5. And as you can see, we got the weekly cycle broke. So we're correcting this large cycle. This whole thing here is correcting. It could probably drop back down to 23.95, but there's no rule. It could go lower, and then we'll come out. So this is opportunity to buy the dip at some point. We'll look for a setup. Maybe there's even a setup right now. We can kind of put a potential buy area here on uranium. You know, somewhere around $26, $25. So this is a good potential area for wave 2 to end. There's your wave 4. So that's your setup there. So we'll add that to my watch list. Again, make sure I pay attention to it. We did break this high, so it should set us up for higher prices as we come out of this. We never got to this this buy area. I was hoping to get more of a lower buy, but as you can see here, this was a lot of congestion, and boom, we broke out bullish, broke the high. Now the late entries, you know, guys chasing it are coming in, and they're gonna get blown up. That came in late. That's why I didn't want to trade it here. The breakout was really a nice area to trade that. This looks like to me a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's see here. Yeah, so maybe put that there. Put it there. It's just one. Yeah, it looks like it's probably done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is an A, B, and now we're in C. Okay. Good luck on that, URA. Joe for 5. mRNA, I told you mRNA formed a connector, and probably it's going lower. So I don't like mRNA anymore because it couldn't make that 5th wave, and I would be careful chasing that one. But that's but if you can make that 5th wave and recover, then things are going to be okay. So we had this peak in a connector, right? So we actually bought the connector, got the nice healthy bounce, but we didn't get a 5th wave, so it turned into a connector for the whole move. So that sets you up for prices down at $40, $36. And it looks like we have a 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like the 4 got rejected on the back test, so we should get 5. A should finish, and we should get a big bounce in B, and then it should be a big move down in C. Okay, this is kind of what I'm thinking. But it's playing out just like I thought it would. I would be just looking to short it maybe. Now here's the thing: if it could break 173, it negates the bear structure, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, and it just looks like a connector wave. Down it goes. Lilly was easy, guys. We said it peaked in the ground super cycle. Okay, that also give, like, look, guys, we called the 5 on my channel. I'm like, I've been telling you guys, 5, it's 5, it's 5. Be careful, and shit. Now it's unraveling. I don't know what degree it's in though. That's the problem. Like, so the problem with Eli Lilly is this 5 going to extend, and this become a 1, 2 out, or is the whole grand super cycle done, and it's gonna correct all the way back down to 480 over many months or even years? I don't know, but I just don't like trading it anymore. And right now it's starting to really get unhinged, right? It looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, and then you had the bounce, and it looks like it wants to take another swing lower, and that would get us to 750, 719. This could be a trade opportunity, but I wouldn't fall in love with it here. If it could make it to 750, try to play the bounce and scalp it, and then dump it. So you can play a bounce here on Eli Lilly right here, in the first leg of a correction. Okay, if it gives it to you. This may not happen though. This is pretty bearish. This B, it could still be in B. Okay, but I'm just showing you a setup. This is a setup opportunity, right? We wait. We don't guess where the market's going. We don't come into Lilly and buy it. We don't short it. We don't do nothing with it here. We just wait. Oh, it wants to drop. Okay, we'll buy it here. Sure. It wants to pump. All right. So what? I don't care. I'm trading other things. So you just wait. You just got to wait and see how it develops. And then, but I do think it's in massive danger. It's in danger, guys. I've been trying. This is it. This is it. There's no more. I can't unless 5 keeps going. Let's look at the long-term cycles. That weekly cycle looks like it's broke here, right? Oh shit. Bear market for Eli Lilly. Monthly, we don't know yet. Monthly, that's pretty damn. And honestly, it would be nice to get some bearish divergence. So perhaps what could happen in Eli Lilly, what could happen is we nail this and we kind of come back up for one more high. So maybe we are in a 5, but it does something like this. You know, something messy. So be careful of that. And then it peaks or something. I'm just giving you some ideas. But that's a nasty candle. I would call that bearish engulfing. ETN. Eden, almost over. Looks like it's a wave 4, one more high, and then that's it. Could I be off? I could do this, right? So again, a lot of stocks look like these charts. So it's almost over. All right, HSY. Hershey. This is being hit by the GLP-1s, but I think we had a buy area. We've looked at this before on our channel, and I was like, oh, I think it's getting closer to a buy area. But let's see. Oh no, I'm thinking of Papa John's. All right, we're in a B wave. Unfortunately, it's coming down to 111. Here's your wave 4 low. Here you're going to lose your 5. It's in a triangle B wave, which is good because then it's a little bit easier to know when it's over. You know, something like that. So don't fall in love with it. Okay, next, CEG. Constellation Energy. So you see, we had a triangle. We were looking for 5, and we didn't get it. So it isn't a triangle. It's still in 4, though. So it just wasn't a triangle. It was a 3-wave move down. So I'd still be looking for 5, and then that's it. It peaked. The buy area is right here, and that's where it's finding buyers. So it should make one more high again, and then that's it. It's over. How can the Dow Jones crash when UNH broke? Flats. It's the only way. So when you see a stock break out of a big consolidation and poke above an all-time high, and then crash, it's a flat. So UNH can do a flat, and then that's what happens. And then that's why people that momentum chase that are like, oh, it's an all-time high, I'm going to just market buy it, and that's why those people are like, they lose all their money, they start jumping off a bridge because they lose it, and then they see it go higher later, and then they really lose. Their mental health is ruined. Again, I don't know if you heard what I said earlier about the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is one of these epic flats that I talk about, and this is a good way to think about stocks like UNH or any stock. Look, the same thing someone would have said about the Dow Jones here. Okay, if you were trading the Dow Jones, you would have said, oh, inverse head and shoulders looking pattern, breakout, oh my God, we're doing it. And then I would have said, oh my gosh, we have stocks that are going to crash. How can it crash? It just broke out of this pattern. How can it crash? Well, guess what? A flat. That's how it can crash. See that? And look, it can still go pretty high. That's how it can crash, guys. That's how that's how your stocks that break out crash. So what it usually means is the stock got ahead of the fundamentals and then it has to resync. But that's what happened to the Dow Jones. Look, so you just got to understand that breaking out and doing that crash is always a flat. It's almost always a flat, and then the C leg of a flat is almost always a straight down crash. It's never like choppy and it's going to take a while. It's always like violent and fast. So let's go look at UNH and see if a flat is something we need to worry about or not. But that's the only thing that comes to mind. Sure. Look, we got the buy here. This is just 3 swings. So look, again, this is why you can't fall in love with these stocks, guys. You got to understand, big picture. You only have 3 waves. You need a 4 and a 5. If you get the 4 and a 5, it negates the flat. You don't have that. So the flat would do like I just showed you on the Dow. Like that. And it would just break this low again. Look, we were only here. It was April 24. So we're only going back to prices we were, 3 or 4 months ago. But for traders, this would be like the worst thing that could have ever happened to them. But really, the market's just, and that's what could happen. So that's what can happen. Okay? So that can happen. So so right now we don't know. The market needs to pull back and make a high to negate the flat. So that's what can happen. That's what the market does to screw up pattern traders, to screw up momentum traders, to screw up, people that are complacent, that aren't paying attention. This is what it does. And usually the C leg of the flat is like violent. It's like that. It's never like this, like these. Almost never. So that's why you'll know. So if you ever get trapped in a flat because it's just going to be a violent move down, know what it is. It's the market makers shaking you out. So you're going to have to just turn your computer off and go do something else. And because we broke this high, we do know that when this flat ends, we will come out and make higher highs. Now there is no rule with flats. The flats can keep going. They don't have to stop here. They usually stop here, but some flats do absolute destruction. They do absolute destruction. Some flat, and no one knows the future to know. That's why you have to use a stop loss on a flat too. But at some point the flat ends and we break new highs. So the people that sell everything in fear and panic and jump off bridge, like all that, they look back in 3 or 4 years and the market's up here and they just can't believe they were stupid enough to sell and panic. But that's what's going to happen in a flat, if this is a flat. So right now, though, what you could do is just say that at some point we're like this. 1, 2, and we should do that. So that's what I'd be looking for, and then a big pullback. That's what you would hope to see, something like that in UNH. Okay, but until you get the 4 and the 5, you can't rule out the flat scenario. Okay. Thomas, aluminum, appreciate the super chat. We haven't looked at aluminum in a while. Let's see. Aluminum. Oh, let's see, commodities. So a couple things here. So we have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3. Okay. We never made the fifth wave, right? We needed it. We needed that fifth wave. So what does that mean? It could be a connector, and you see how sharp it's turning down. So we have to be careful now. So this wouldn't be a 4 anymore. And if we look at the cycles, it's amazing how quick the market can change the conditions, but it's still okay. So if the monthly cycle breaks this trend line, then you would have to go from bull to bear on aluminum, and then this was just another connector wave, and we're going to break these lows, and it's going to go lower. Okay, we don't know that yet, so what I would do is just label it bullish for now, but you have to keep in the back of your mind that it has the possibility of turning of breaking these lows based on this just being a three-wave connector. The buy area would be 21.98. So if it's going to bounce in this wave too, it's going to be right around here. So there you go. So it's probably going a little bit lower, and then a massive decision by the market is going to have to happen, because if this low breaks, if this breaks, this is just a bear flag, and you're going to have a whole nother leg lower in aluminum that you'll have to deal with. I guess that's very deflationary, right? Recessionary for the market. Look where it brings you down to, 1,000. That brings you to some really nasty levels. So just that's a very interesting chart that could give us an idea of the future direction of the market, because if this doesn't turn up and we really break aluminum down, that's got to be very, you're like, oh, that's great, that's deflation, cheaper stuff, but that could be recession. That could be recession, growth slowing down, you know? That's pretty bearish. That's pretty bearish, but because we did not turn up on that fifth wave, and we're breaking down hard, I think you got to be careful that it's not a connector wave, not a three-wave connector, and you're not in some W, X, Y. Anonymous. Oh, I missed the super chat. Oh, sorry about that. Let's go to that super chat. MIGI and the crypto. Crypto is always tricky to chart because of where Bitcoin's going to end up. But let's see. Wrong one. MIGI. So I put the one here. It's a corrective move because we would have had the 3 there, but you see this 4 went too deep, so it's a corrective move. But it looks like it's coming out. Let's go to we have to go to a 15-minute time frame and see. Yeah, see, it's a corrective move. So I would be careful. See, we never got to the buy area, so what I would be careful about in this is it doesn't morph into something. Yeah, let's go. Let's take a step back here. We took that peak out there too. Let's see. We have higher time frame. So why don't we say that you got 3 waves, 3 waves. So why don't we say that this is some kind of connector wave? So I'd be careful to get, punch drunk bullish, like, oh, it's going to the moon, because we're only moving in 3 waves. So when the end, so there's 2 possibilities. There's 2 realistic possibilities now because of that, the chart. It's either this with a connector, and then more upside like that, and then then who knows. Or the more bullish option which I think that's how I'll label it, is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if it's a lead in diagonal, it's 3 waves. So 3, 3, 3, and then a big pullback all the way back down to 114, and then out. Okay, so I think you got to watch something like this, some kind of tricky structure like that. Okay, on this one. HUT. HUT is about to end 5 waves, and it's going to have to correct the whole thing from here. So a big correction's coming. Like that. That would be 3. It'd be another 4. Maybe another 5 later. And then an even bigger correction. And then, if it's still a live moon. So, again, I think a lot of the easy gains are over in it. But it's a great, looks like a great trade-in vehicle for a while. But I think you still got more upside in 5. Now, what you have to hope for is the divergence erased. Now, if the divergence is erased, then this will become a 1, 2, and it's just going to go to the moon. So I just don't know that. I'm just showing you the more cautious, conservative path on HUT. BT, looks like it's continuing to push higher like we had here. We have overlap in waves. Let's take a look at the RSI. So we broke that. So let's label this a little different, not as bullish, but it's still label it. But I think 3 would be the shortest. So that that's never going to work. Yeah, we'll call this a run-in flat here. And then no, that's still not the right call. I guess it is the 1, 2. So I think the only way I can label it is 1, 2s, 1, 2s. So I don't know. I guess this is showing that it could have a pretty explosive move. Although this corrected the whole cycle. You know, maybe I could do something like that. You know, it's tough. This one's tough because we need a little more chart data to help us pinpoint it exactly. But this leg down looks like it corrected this whole move, but this isn't an impulse. So the only thing I'm really left with is what I just showed. And it's still not a clean looking chart. So let me look at a higher. Let me just zoom out a little bit. It could, maybe it's corrective. Maybe it's a corrective move is what's happening. Let's just see if how that works out. If it's a corrective move. It would be like a it would be like something like this, and this is like a very it would have to be something like this. You know, because of looking at the RSI and everything, I think you have to be really careful. This is not a corrective move that's ended. And we do know that this was going to end, right? We did know we don't have this in an impulse, so we do know this was going to end, and we have a whole nother leg lower, and these lows will break. So I would be really careful. I don't think I would want to be long this, looking at this chart now. I wouldn't want to be long this anymore. And this isn't even the right way to label it anymore. It would be I would be careful. I don't like this chart for long positions. It would need to do. It would need to. You know what? If it could take out 528, then on a pullback, I would probably rather buy it than buy it here. BCHG should if this again. So I have this in a more bullish chart, but you gotta understand it's just 3 swings. So until we take out 1221, there's a chance this is a connector and it can make a whole new series low back to $5. So I bring that up because the market is turning lower, but we need more upside. If we can't get it, it's a connector. It's a connector for the entire move down. So you have W, X, Y. Can't rule it out. So, but for right now, it's kind of stuck. It's kind of stuck. We'll see what the market wants to do, and it could still be in 2. So, but right now, this is the count I've been going with. And then LTCN did turn higher finally. It's been weak. This one did turn higher, and we erased divergence here. So this is still in its wave 3. And again, could be corrective. You need a pullback and another high to negate to confirm the low. If you don't get that, if it's corrective, it could break this low and come all the way back down to $8. Okay, so the trades for these were back here, where I got in. Now this is like no trade area. I would not be trading these in these areas because if it's corrective, you could lose all your money. And if it isn't, well, okay, you make a marginal high and you still goes down. And if you're lucky, a 10% chance it just keeps going up in a 1-2-1-2. But that's just, I don't think, I think that's just not a good way to trade. But I think this is the pattern. We still need a 4 and a 5. But we're still in wave 3. It looks like we're still in some kind of wave 3. All right, Ryan Toller. Yep, let's do a couple more here. Please, 2 ADRs. I'll try to find those. RNMBY. So you got bearish divergence here at this peak. Let's go to the monthly time frame. And you erased it here. Yeah, so looks like it's in its first wave. Looks like to me you got this like 1-2 here. And then let's try to label this. One, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. Put the 3 there. So it looks like you're in some kind of wave 4. So you should get one more high. Typically the wave 4 retraces to the 618. So it could see 93.78. It could be in a connector wave. It's hard to say if the 4 is done or not. But it looks like to me it's a connector wave here of some kind and an ABC. So the buy could be right around 92.88, right where I thought it would be. So that's probably the buy area for this wave 4 to get the wave 5. All right, next is GRRMF. Grishire. Not a lot of data it looks like on this one. I'll do my best. This is not a lot of data to go with. We'll just label what we see here. I mean, this looks like a 1, 2, right? We broke the high. That's always good. I'll see if I can see a little bit better. So, you know, the obvious count is this is some kind of 1, 2 here, and it'll find support. At 83.94, 75.95 for the buy. Now, because of like I mentioned before, there's always the risk of the flat where it will come back down to retest these lows. So I don't know, because there's just not enough data to really look at it properly. But this is probably the path. But since you broke this high, whatever happens here, whether it's a 2 or you get a flat, it should go higher in the future. It should break these highs. Eddie for 2, Baba. So Baba is in a interesting situation because of how it's been behaving with the Hang Seng going down a little bit. But Baba's in a dire situation. A lot of their stocks are, but I do believe this is the count in Baba. We're pushing this wave C. I do believe we're going to come down to this $62, $60 area, and if to me is if the Hang Seng is here and Baba's at 62, you're good to go. But if the Hang Seng is here and Baba is below this low, then Baba's screwed. It's screwed, man. It's going all the way back down to maybe $20. I know people can't believe it, but that's what the chart says. So, but I do think as the Hang Seng pulls back, this is going to pull back, and it'll be a nail biter. Will this be a technical break or not? I mean, honestly, it doesn't look good, but I can be hopeful. I'm not in the trade. We traded this little pump, but I'm not in the trade because it's corrective. We didn't get 5 waves, so we got out of it with a little bit of profit, which was good. It was a good trade. Now, if it can hold this low, you can back into the low here. Now, if we get to 62, yeah, buy it, put the stop loss at 57, and it could be a generational opportunity to buy it. But I'm telling you, if this breaks, it's game over for this chart. I mean, it's game over. I mean, I don't have to tell you. This is a massive top. And again, chart pattern traders always say the distance from the top to the neckline. Well, shit. Negative. I mean, there's no more room. It's over. Technically, it means nobody. It's going to be crazy. And again, why would it do it? Does it deserve it? I don't really care about all that. Whys and does it deserve? Who knows why? But I'm just showing you the chart. Technically, this is a do or die point for Alibaba stock, right there. Do or die. Do or die. All right, Jonathan Groves. A week ago, I was asked what stocks you were highly convicted and bullish on. Has that changed? So I mentioned those stocks. I am convicted and bullish on them, but we have to wait for lower prices, a better setup now. So I think I said AMD was good. I don't like AMD until if it finishes a bigger correction. So do I still like AMD? Yes, but I don't like it where it is anymore, because of what's happening to it. I do believe AMD. I mean, we just have to accept it. This is just 3 waves. Now, we knew this was 5 waves down. So we have A, B, we need C. I mean, Elliott wave theory, it's classic. I wanted B to go higher, but we stopped out. Or you're just hoping. Now, you can get this counter trend rally probably next week or something, but now, highly convicted to buy AMD at 101. Hell yeah. I want to buy it here. So Amcor is the same thing, guys. Look, a new target, 35. I'm highly convicted on Amcor, but I'm still got these bullish charts. It's just they're going to be deeper pullbacks. So there are buys in the market that go counterintuitive to what the indices are saying right now. But the indices, like I said, I'm not saying they're crashing like today. I'm just saying that, look, we got to top out. So the indices, so there's going to be stocks that are going to keep going higher, right? So there's still trades to get on the long side. The only thing that can negate everything I have here is the flat, is if the flat plays out that I showed you, like on the long-term chart. So if the flat plays out on the long-term chart, which is like a 5% chance, maybe 5 to 10% chance, if the flat plays out, and this is the flat, guys. Right there, that that, that, that. If that plays out, then yeah, every you wouldn't want to buy anything in the market, right? You want to short the market. But that's a 5%, 10% chance right now. No one knows that. What crisis, like like the flat we saw back in 2009 that emerged, we all saw the housing crisis coming. There were people on TV predicting it. They were called lunatics, whatever. But we all saw, like we knew, like, okay. But like what crisis is really happening right now, this moment, that could justify that kind of risk off? I mean, unemployment isn't that high. I mean, we're not like seeing 8-9% unemployment. We're not seeing banks closing down, shutting down. We're not seeing the world come to an end. We're not seeing nuclear wars start. We're not. All we're seeing is election controversy, which is typical. And so I don't know what kind of news we have to justify a flat like this. You know, there's just nothing out there that I see. So why would I even think the market fundamentals are that weak that it needs to come? Like I just don't see that unless we're in a major like slowdown like in the last 3 weeks that nobody knows about, and like the companies are going to report and miss big and guide down huge, and Jay Powell was too late to lower rates and he blew it. He over tightened. I mean that will reveal itself during the earnings coming up in the next couple weeks. Um, I mean, but even then, I don't think that will cause a flat like this. This has to be like the entire system is collapsing. Now, Trump being assassinated, now that kind of shit could cause a flat and panic. That kind of shit, the aftermath, now that could have done it. Now, that didn't happen. Now, there are people scared that Trump's going to put populists in the party and they may all want to leave, but that's just talk, and that's not enough. And the other thing is, I think Trump wants the market to crash under Biden because then he can come pick up the pieces and he has a mandate to make change, and he won't be blamed for it. So I do believe he will talk the market down and not up, and he'll be more scary, so the rhetoric will be stronger. But again, I don't know, like whatever crisis is out there, it still hasn't revealed itself yet if this is going to play out. But as long as that doesn't play out, then I do like to buy stocks just at different levels, because you got to recognize we're probably in this wave 4 pullback, or we're in a daily wave 4 high. This is a weekly wave 4, and then that's it. So I think you just have to like choose your right setups. Like URA, we looked at URA, that has a good setup. That's going to be a good long position, right? So there's different things, you know, but I do think you gotta know where you are in the bigger picture, and we keep an eye on things on the channel, is what we do. But yeah, I would be careful. Like I would just be careful that in the short cycle that there could be the market could be under pressure, and if you're like, I put my whole stack on long positions and calls, that may not be the right thing to do. You may want to wait for a bigger pull, but you might want to wait like 3 or 4 weeks. Let the market sell off on this daily cycle more, or it emerges as a weekly cycle, then buy all those things I said to go buy, right? That's what changed. So the conditions did change because the sell-in was too strong last week. It was too strong, and we also have the VIX on the verge of a breakout of a wedge, which you have to respect that. Now, hopefully it gets rejected, but there's always a chance that breaks, and we'll have like massive meltdown on Monday and Tuesday. Volmageddon. So just market conditions can change at any moment. All right, Chris, let's go to yours. Chlor. Let's see here. Chlor. Chlor. Is that a crypto or something? I guess it's a crypto. I'm looking at it, so I'll go with Chlor here. I'll just pick any exchange, I guess. Looks like it's just 3 waves up and a flat and an A, B, C. So it's moving in 3. So we should get 3 down. And yeah, see the cycle's over. So looks like to me it's turning higher. So looks like it's coming off this low. So this looks good for a big breakout. All right, good luck on that one. Hope it works out. Raven, RVN. Renewable Ventures. Or market, you probably mean the market cap. I'm not sure which, I assume you mean the crypto. Let's go to the crypto. Ravencoin, yeah, you probably mean Ravencoin. Wow, I haven't heard about Ravencoin in a long time. That was a popular one. I wonder how it's doing. Yeah, that was a popular one. I remember that one. All right, let's see here. 3, connector. Looks like it wants to take one more leg lower. So it looks like to me we got something like this. And it's going to bounce in. You're going to get a bounce like something like that. So I do think it's got upside, maybe back up to like 30, this area here. And then it's got one more low. Well, it's actually like an ABC. So I would just say it's just starting, just getting going. Okay, so it's going to have to do 3 swings out of this, but it should fail. It should fail. I don't know what it's going to look like, but it looks like it's pumping out of that. CASS. Let's see here. I think we have CASS. CASS, we got this one pretty right. It looks like we got this 5. So either 5 is in here and it's finished, and we're pulling back in 2. We'll pull back down to 12.3 and then out of this pattern. Or actually, it's going to go deeper. It'll go to like 11.9. Now, yeah, I would say it's in this wave too. Now, this connector wave, it could do a lot of things here, but I really wouldn't. I would be, again, I always see, when I see patterns like this, I think it's going to at some point tag this area in this too, before it can turn higher. I don't know how it's going to play out though. There's too many possibilities. I think if it turns into a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, that's always a possibility. If it can break this 20 cents, if it can come up, then it can really take off. But it's not the likely path. I just label in what I think is the most likely path. All right, thanks again, Chris. JR, Loom, and you. Loom. Let's see, LUMN. I don't have that one. Lumen. Wow, this one's not looking good. I wonder if we broke the all-time low. We haven't. Looks like a big flat to me. That finished here, and then it made another swing lower. No, I would actually say this is part of the flat. So real bearish. I mean, at some point it should come to an end. So this is an example of a flat that goes well beyond the low, right? That's why I said some of these flats just you never recover from them. Yep, and then we broke the high, but we erased divergence here. So yeah, so there's the flat extends. You got a meager bounce, right? You got a little bit of a bounce, and now you're in wave 3. So obviously it's got more downside, and so the wave 3 should come to an end soon. You'll get a bounce. That bounce will fail. You'll get some bullish divergence on the higher time frames, and if you're lucky, the firm hasn't gone bankrupt and still in the stock market. If it is, then perhaps there's a chance it can recover somehow. But that's the chart. Wish I had better news on that, but it's just the way it goes. It's the way it goes. Some companies just can't figure their shit out, you know? The shit goes under. They just can't figure it out. NU Holdings. All right, this one's pretty good. Looks like we had that 3-wave move here. 1, 2. Coming out in wave 3. So this one looks good. We have a little bit bearish divergence here, but if you look, this cycle was corrected. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and just label it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 5. Let's still look for it like this. 1, 2. 1, 2. Yeah, this looks like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a lead-in diagonal out. So it's got more upside to go in this wave 5. And if you're lucky, I'll erase divergence and wave 3 will extend. So if you could, boom, if you could take that divergence and erase it, then this will become a 1, 2, it'll extend. But it looks like it's got a little more upside in wave 5, and then it should come all the way back down to this area, 1038. Iceman Icy, RKLB. Let's take a look at that. Rocket Labs, okay. Yeah, that one was looking good to me. Let's see what we've got here. Let's see here. So we, was this, this must have been something different. I was mixing it up with something else. So we were trying to hold the low here. First we got to find the low. Make sure we actually know where it is. So that low broke. So once we broke that low and negated it, so I think we wanted the bottom here, but we broke the low, but then you broke it again. So it's obviously in a bearish connector wave. So this is a bearish connector wave. That's a 3-wave move of some kind. So it's moving in a bear connector wave. It's probably going to do that. And when this completes, then it should come back and break all those lows. So it looks like it's pushing higher in this wave C. So I would just try to look for more upside in this wave C for the time being. But once the impulse is finished, then Rocket Labs is pretty much toast. But it should push higher, right? It should push higher a little bit. Okay, thanks for the super chat. Let's keep going. Shane, Moses, Disney. I was looking for the rally in Disney. I was not looking for it to do the catastrophic breakdown. This would also be a sign that the market could be in meltdown mode. So we had this 4, we have 5. Oh wow, look at that. It's in the buy area. Look at that. We got it. So, but if you look at the count, looks like a 1, 2. It still looks like wave 5 isn't finished, so I wouldn't get too excited. So perhaps it can go a little lower. What you don't want to see is divergence erased, or then I wouldn't trade it anymore. So let's see. We still have bullish divergence. If that 4-hour divergence erases, I wouldn't bother buying this anymore, because then it's going to do like an AMD. It's going to come all the way back and break this low. And guys, if Disney breaks that low, Disney is going down, 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 all the way down to $40, $35 in a massive top and pattern, a massive head and shoulders pattern with a breakdown. So there's almost too bearish to contemplate, but for now, we have to respect the chart we're in, not what we wish it to be. But it does look like it's it looks like to me within this 5th wave, we need like a bounce and another low. It just so maybe this is a little early, maybe, but it does something like this, something like that, and then we can come out for the final swing higher, because I am looking for Disney to make another swing higher at least to finish this C wave. The tragedy would be is if C's done here, right? Because that means Disney's toast. And that, and again, given the indices forecast, maybe we should expect it to go down. But I think it's too bearish to assume that. I think this is the better way to try to chart it. Okay. Thanks for you, Do. I forgot to add Tesla. Yeah, sure, Tesla. So Tesla, I am still bullish on Tesla. I mentioned that we're due a 5th wave. Perhaps wave 4 is going to be a little more complex, where we have an A, a B, and like a C or a WXY down, and we drop down to 227, and then we get the 5th wave. And then after the 5th wave, we get a big pullback, back down to this area, something like that. So that's the most probable path. Now, the other possibility was this is another 1, 2, 1, 2, and it like moons. Can happen. Don't doubt it. The other, and again, then there's a very bearish chance that since we don't have the 5th wave, this is just 3 up, 3 down. So we're still in actually this wave too, and we have a W, X, and we go Y. But we don't have any sign that is going to happen. The first warning sign that would happen is 1, just by trading in here, but 2, breaking through this with a lot of downward momentum, like down in this area. So don't know yet which one it's going to be. Obviously, if the market's going to crash, it's going to be the other one. If the markets are going to be supported and then just kind of chop around, we'll get this 5, we'll pull back, and then we'll come out. So, but I have to keep an open mind to all possibilities, but I don't think I wouldn't believe with this downtrend break-in, it just does not seem likely that we're going to get a big crash back down. It just doesn't it seems more likely that we'll get a 4 and a 5, and then we'll pull back and meander around until the right news hits, and then it's out. We're moon. Okay. Rondo Cheese, SRP. Let's see here, SRP. Looks like we don't have that. Oh, by the way, I don't know if who asked me about Hawaiian Energy or that Hawaii utility company, but we freaking nailed that, man. We called that bottom, and I saw it was like up like 40% or something. So whoever asked me about that, man, I'm really happy for you, and I'm pissed I didn't buy it. I'm pissed I didn't buy that. But I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know what Hawaiian Energy. I'm like, what the hell's Hawaiian Energy? So, but anyway, let's see here. SRP again, flat to me. Looks like flat type correction with this the bottom, and we're building out. So, so far so good on this. And now we're trying to come out of this count. Yeah, I gotta label it. I'm gonna label it this way. Okay. So good luck with that. It's really the only way to label it. So this one's about to see a lot of upside, it looks like. GSK. So we broke these lows here. So it looks like it's some kind of connector wave. So chances are we'll make another swing lower. Then we broke that high here. So this X wave is very complex, a very complex X wave. So we'll have to just kind of take our time trying to label it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there. Again, it could get even more complicated. I do believe at some point you'll get a capitulation wave in this. I just don't know when it's just kind of meandering around. It's kind of lost. It's waiting. There's a lot of sellers that just are kind of not ready to let go of it, their dream, but eventually they will. This looks like 3 down, 5 up. CBA. So, yeah, this is tough. I think maybe it's better to put that there and then try to label what this is. So this is like a connector and a connector. And that's why it's such a mess. Like you have a connector and a connector. So it's like super, super choppy. A, B, C, D. Let's take another look at this. Yeah, what a mess. What a messy chart. What a mess. And that's just 3 waves down. Something like this. Yeah, I think it's just too many possibilities here. I think what you're going to have to understand is this is a connector and a connector. You're still in X, so there's a chance it could still need a pump up in Y, and then it will fail. But there is a slight possibility X is already in place here, and it's about to fail at any moment. So I just don't know. I just can't read from the chart. It's not clear to me. But I think it's more than likely these lows will break. Um, let's see, Wipro. All right, you have an overlapping wave there. See the peak, so it looks like we're still in the series of 1-2, 1-2s. This looks like some kind of flat. And then from here, something like that. Yeah, this is weird. This right here could still be in 2. So you need to be careful it doesn't do this like a flat here. It do something like that because of the way this bottomed. It's just real tricky. I would be careful, but it's not clear to me that this is ready to go. I think it'd be I think I could see another flat, another pullback lower before it can find support. LDO. Let's see, MIL index. So looks like to me you got some kind of 5 waves up here with a lot of overlapping waves. And then you tagged right here in a nice 3-wave move. So right, and now you're building off that low. Divergence, bearish divergence. So looks like to me you've got, and then nice 3 swings. So this is moving. This is classic Elliott wave chart. This is, sometimes the charts aren't this clear, but looks like to me you've got, so it looks like to me you're going to top out in some 4s and 5s, and then have a big correction. So it's, you know, it's going to be really choppy here. And then a big drop, you know. So that's from an Elliott wave. And actually this 4, look how long this took. So this 4 could take a while. So it could be like something like that. And then down. And then out. But looks like you're going to have to wait a while. So, I mean, this is the Elliott wave interpretation. It can always extend and erase divergence. So there's always that possibility. I can't predict it won't extend. But for now, this is kind of how I would chart it. So here, all right, let's go ahead and go through. I'm just going to scan the other comments. I can't get to all your questions. I've already been on for over 2 hours, so I can't. If you didn't get to your question, I can always do super chats and get to it. Yeah, you know, there are stocks that that may provide a floor to the market, but I would be looking for bigger stocks than the ones you're listing, Stacy. Like like they could go lower, unfortunately, I think. But it is something to keep in mind, right? For sure. Um, GME is on an update. I watch my other live streams. I've given those GME updates the last couple. Um, yeah, wave 4 crash coming. Yeah, either way, a crash coming. Crash is too early. Yeah, I think it's too early too, personally. But I mean, I never rule anything out. I mean, I always think the unthinkable. That's how I've always traded. Just always keep in the back of my mind. And typically the markets do not crash in July. They crash in October. So it'd be way out of season for that too. But pullbacks definitely happen this time of year. So I do think I do think that's what's going to happen. Fours and fives are playing out across the market, and some stocks still need threes, and so the market's just topping out now. But it's going to take time to do that. That's the typical behavior that I would expect. A crash would be unexpected, but but who knows? I don't make the market, right? Who knows? Maybe they need a crash for some reason. Some power player out there that has enough control of things, the computers, you know. Um, yeah, well, I still do. I actually still think they're going to new highs. I think what you're mixing up or hearing is I haven't talked about the bearish case enough, and I need to guys give you the bearish case so you don't end up losing all your money if what I have said doesn't happen. Look, this is what I still have, guys. The SPY was in a buy on Friday, so I don't know if you like, but I am talking about the bearish case. I have to tell you guys the bearish case because I can be wrong. This may not happen. This may not happen. This 5 could be done here. It could be done here. Like we don't. So you need to be aware of the bearish case. Okay, that's all I'm saying. But look, this is my chart. I'm not showing anything different. Look, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, crash. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I haven't changed anything. Triple Qs, 4, 5. IWM, 5, 5, 4, 5. So no crash yet. But I could put it there. I got to keep an open mind. So that's what I'm just trying to tell you guys. If you're just like, hey, I'm going to put all my money in calls and just, screw this market's going to pump and I'm so smart and I'm going to make money and be stupid, just know that the bearish case will emerge. And the thing about the bearish case, this is going to be such a strong move down. My guess is the first move down in the A wave of this is going to be huge, and people are going to lose all their money and call it like it's going to be a massive boom, push down, big candle. Welcome to the bear market, and then everyone's freaking out, and then it'll just unravel. So, but the welcome into the bear market, I think you'll have no notice, no advance warning. It's going to be Volmageddon. If you guys have traded that, you just wake up one day and the shit's down 5 or 6%. You don't know why. There's no news. It's just no one can understand what's happening. That's how X will be introduced to the market, guys. But I need to show you that. Now, I still don't think that. So like I said, right now SPY is a buy, IWM's a buy, but you better have a stop loss and you better understand the bearish case, because if I'm wrong and X is in, you're going to lose a lot of money potentially. So you just got to understand what you're doing and you got to do what's best for you. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, so Bitcoin is, I did Bitcoin already earlier. Again, I'm just kind of scanning through things. Yeah, I mean the small. It's hard to believe the small caps can get even lower, but I guess that if what happens in the Russell with the small caps, that means a lot of companies are going out of business that don't make any money. I still show that, so I still show the SPY going up, the 610. So again, guys, you're not listening if you're not hearing what I'm saying. Look, this is what I'm saying. All I'm telling you guys, but at some point it's going to end, and I can be wrong. I can be wrong, and we could just start going down a lot sooner than you think. I'm telling you. It's just all I'm saying. But look, nothing's changed in my charts. I still have a buy on Friday. The SPY was a buy on Friday. How many people bought it? You can put in your chat. I bet no one bought it. I bet everyone was scared. But that was a buy on Friday. So I'm just saying now, what if we get stopped out here at 542? Well, then we're in this four. Okay, so I'm one off. Okay, so that means we won't go as high. But what if I'm wrong? What if I'm completely wrong and it's already done? I'm just saying, you're just gonna have to do what's best for you. I'm just showing you the bear case. The bear case is out there, and we have come a long way from here. A long way this year. So more than enough distance. But I still think we got to go higher, but I can't promise you I don't make the market. But look, it is going to come to an end. This shit is going to crash, guys. And I've always said that. It's always been on this chart. If you follow me, it's not anything new. This has always been here. This has always been here. It's always been here. So I've always been bearish. It's just we just played this pump beautifully. We've played 2024 has been so profitable. We played it absolutely perfect. 2024, we nailed it, guys. But now we need to kind of understand the bear case will start to emerge in the next 6 to 12 months. So you're just going to need to prepare. And again, I can be wrong. I can be wrong. And if I'm wrong, we could top sooner than you think, and then you could lose all your gains you got this year pretty quickly. So you got to understand where we are in the big picture. I'm just pointing out the obvious, right? I'm pointing out the obvious, but you need to understand that. And I've never believed in Moonboy. I'm just like I said, Moonboy is a scenario, but it's so low likely. I just don't believe in it. But some people believe in it. And always know, you have to always shift too from bull to bear, or you'll lose all your money. Just like the perma bears lose all their money, they're like, oh, we're going to short. Perma bulls will lose all their money too on this downturn. So you got to be able to change on a dime. If you're a bull, you got to I don't care. I'm a bear now. I'm going to short. Like you got to go with whatever the market's giving you. You have to have your ego checked aside. So if we top sooner than I think, and we get confirmation with the monthly cycle break, then it's about shorting the market now. And I don't care whether I said what I said, because I just care about making money. I don't care about being a perma bull because I don't care. It's just whatever the market. But we do know we're on borrowed time. This market is on borrowed time. It is coming to an end. It's coming to an end. Bitcoin, cool. OIH, SLB. I still have those same buy areas there. RK should be okay. Keep an eye on that. Amazon, watch the flat in Amazon on the not the huge flat, but like I look at Amazon as something that may do something a little bit different. So we have this like 1, 2, 3, 4. I had this still in wave 5 as like a 1, 2, 1, 2. I think it's more likely it's going to do a bigger flat, especially with AMD breaking down, and it will come back to retest this trend line. So I think you got to be careful with Amazon, and it seems like that's what the price action's trying to do to correct this whole cycle, this whole move. That's what I think's happening in Amazon. But again, since we broke these highs, we broke this high, chances are we have another swing higher, right? So Yeah, I mean, CrowdStrike could have been a calamity. Like I think when the grand super cycle ends, it's an event none of us have thought could happen. Happens. Could the Trump assassination, if it was successful, led to a cascade of other decisions and civil unrest? That could have done it, sure. Could CrowdStrike, if it was a little more sinister, collapsed every computer in the world? Like, yeah, and that could have done it. So, like, I think the grand super cycle ends on a news event that nobody sees coming. It just is like completely out in left field, and you literally wake up one day and you're like, holy shit, sell everything. So I think that's how it probably ends. So, but what event is going to cause it? I mean, I could never have guessed what happened with Trump. I mean, and what just happened with CrowdStrike. I mean, shit, my package got lost. I was sending this thing on UPS. I'm trying to sell my house, and it got lost. So fucking CrowdStrike, I got to go back and find this document I sent. So yeah, I mean, I mean, CrowdStrike thing is like pisses everyone off. So it's like who knows? You wake up and now there's a house I need to close on. I can't close on. So it cascades. And what if I can't close? What happens there? Then there's money that this guy doesn't get, and so the whole economic system like has these ripple effects. Just from like one stupid power of attorney lost that doesn't make it to the because some hack some programmer or hacker got into it. So that it's really strange how fragile the system is. CrowdStrike didn't break that low, so that's pretty bullish. That low right, that one low, it didn't break it, so that was good. TQQ calls. Yeah, I think that the market should bounce next week. I mean, it's due a relief rally, but I do think technology, you got to look for a bounce to fill this gap, and then another low for a more stable, for a better. So I just think this tradable. I think it's tradable here, but I don't think it's just going to go up. I think it's got a bounce and a failure coming. That's my guess. Technology. Bird flu, yeah, bird flu could do it too. Oh, is that right? China wasn't infected by the CrowdStrike news? That's interesting. All right, I'm wrapping up, guys. I've been on a long time. Good luck trading next week. Watch my Twitter. I won't be able to do live streams. I'll definitely do one on Friday to recap where everything is trading. Next week should be about relief rally. It should be relief rally. That's my hunch. But if we're gonna get something more sinister, it should, and the VIX is gonna break out of its wedge. It'll happen on Monday on open. It will be a Monday calamity. So we'll know. I think Monday, if this thing breaks out on Monday, it'll happen on Monday, and Monday will be a catastrophe in the market because we'll be down like 3-4% across the board on the indices if this VIX breaks out on Monday. But chances are it's going to get rejected, and we'll get a relief rally. So 80% chance, 90% chance of a relief rally, and then Monday we can watch the future. We'll see what happens in Europe. If the bears can really do their thing and get us out and get this VIX going again, the VIX gets resurrected.